Hello everyone, Mariko Berg, residential realtor with Bridgewell Real Estate Group. And in today's Tri-Cities Neighborhood Guide, I'm going to be taking you through my home neighborhood, which is North Shore Port Moody, and also Barber Street in relation to that. Of course, we are in beautiful Port Moody on this sunny day, and I'm going to be taking you through everything that you need to know about these sub-areas, including the area as a whole, main roads and transit, urban centers, real estate, schools, outdoor and indoor things to do. So why don't we just get into it? So starting off with the area, main roads and transit, I think it's first good to get an understanding of the lay of the lands and kind of how North Shore Port Moody and Barber Street are laid out. So they are both irregular shapes, and on the south side they're bordered by Port Moody Centre, which is most known as urban areas such as Suterbrook or Klahanie and all along St. John's. And then on the north side of Barber Street, you have Anmore. On the north side of North Shore Port Moody, but on the east side of Barber Street, you have Heritage Mountain, which is another really popular sub-area and also has a secondary school. And then on the east side, you're actually bordered by Coquitlam. So you're all in that Eagle Ridge area. So that's really how North Shore Port Moody and Barber Street are sandwiched in between other sub-areas. In terms of main roads throughout North Shore Port Moody, I would say definitely the most main road is Ioko, which goes through the city, past Newport Village, and then hooks left all the way into all of the detached homes. Up in Barber Street, I would say it's mainly April Road is the big one there. And then as you are coming into the east side of North Shore Port Moody, there's also parts of Guildford. Now, obviously, those areas are going to be the ones that have the bulk of the transit. So in those neighborhoods, you have buses that will then run directly into Moody Station, which has the SkyTrain station. It's got a number of local buses again, and it's also got the West Coast Express Rapid Train, which will take you directly into downtown Vancouver's waterfront area. And for anyone that's commuting for work with a car, Port Moody and specifically this area is really great because you have relatively easy and immediate access to major highways such as Barnett Highway, which then turns into Hastings and will take you immediately into Burnaby and downtown Vancouver, as well as heading down St. John's and then up Snake Hill. That's another option to then hit the Gallardi exit onto the freeway. So if you are commuting, I think that Port Moody is a great option just because we are the furthest west in terms of the Tri-Cities, next to also Coquitlam West. And so if you are looking to get around either by bus or by car, Port Moody and North Shore Port Moody specifically is definitely a great option. And so obviously Port Moody is known for the outdoors, and North Shore Port Moody has no shortage of that. Right now I am in Old Orchard Park area, which has the beautiful Burrard Inlet, which is currently at low tide, but obviously comes up. Sometimes you see people swimming along here. You see a lot of people enjoying the beach. And this also connects to the Shoreline Trail, which is a trail that runs all the way around the inlet and into the other side, which then hits Rocky Point Park. So that is definitely a fan favorite over there. You have great events like Canada Day long weekends, Golden Spike Day. You have Rib Fest, for example. You have Penguin Plunge in the wintertime. So lots of different events that go on there. But on a non-event day, it's still a really great place to hang out. You've got a large field, you've got a spray park, you've got some commercial options such as Rocky Point Ice Cream, and just right across from it, you also have Brewers Row, which a lot of people come in from out of town actually and enjoy like a great craft beer day. And they also have Rocky Point Spirits there, so lots of different options for absolutely everybody. North Shore Port Moody, as I said, I am in the Old Orchard Hall, Old Orchard Park area, and that is actually right within the sub area itself. So this is kind of like a local private fan favorite, so don't tell anyone unless you move here, I guess. And you have a playground here as well, barbecue options, and the hall is actually an option for everybody to rent out. You see a lot of weddings there, a lot of events, and city events as well. Moving on to other places outside of the sub area, I mean, you've got great access to options such as Belcarra, Bunsen, Burt Flynn Park. A lot of those are really popular in terms of mountain biking, like proper, difficult hiking, like I am sweating. Walking your dog, all of those are within honestly like a 5 to 10 minute drive. Burt Flynn is also very close and has a lot of different access points throughout North Shore Port Moody and Barber Street, specifically off April Road. So if you're looking for something kind of quick to like go for like a more difficult run or walk the dog, that's definitely a great option within the sub area here. And then because we are bordering Coquitlam's Eagle Ridge area on that east side of North Shore Port Moody. Another popular area is the Coquitlam Crunch, which is kind of Coquitlam's version of the Grouse Grind, but like mini. You've got stairs up and down that maybe take about like 10 to 15 minutes to go up, or you can go all the way up and head into the Eagle Mountain area, which has a number of other hikes as well. So that really sums up the outdoor spaces, but honestly there's lots of different options kind of here or there to explore within the North Shore Port Moody area and Port Moody as a whole. If you're looking for more of the indoor side of things, you've got lots of different grocery shopping options if that's what you like to do on the weekend like me. Cedarbrooke has Thrifty Foods. Within the sub area you have IGA within the Newport Village complex, which also has a lot of different commercial shops. Like they've got like a really good olive oil shop, they've got a butcher shop, they've got St. James Well, they've got Kin's Market. Like honestly just a ton of different restaurants and retail shops. It's really cute that you can go and take a look at. And you also have the Port Moody Rec Center, which is right in the heart of the neighborhood as well. So that has the skating rink, it's got the gym, the fitness facility, they've got pickleball, they've got tennis courts there, they've got a soccer field, they have the library, city hall. All of that is right within that Port Moody recreation complex, and is definitely another great option to check out. So getting into my favorite part, which is of course real estate. If you're looking within these sub areas, you have a lot of different options in terms of condos, townhouses, and detached homes. Although I will start with saying that Barber Street is all detached homes. So that's all you're gonna see. And that's the area that's on that north side of Ioko. Now in terms of North Shore Port Moody, because it encompasses all the way out east and also includes a lot of that border of Coquitlam and the Newport Village area, that's where you start to see more of the strata options. So you have condos and you have townhouses. Starting off with the condos, I am going to go into urban centers like the existing Newport Village and also the future Coronation Park in a later part of this video. Just a Cliff Notes version of the existing option, which is Newport. It is primarily BOSA built, primarily built in the 90s, and it has mixed commercial, residential, low-rise buildings. It also has a few high-rise buildings, and that's where all that retail is as well. In terms of other condo options, you have little low-rise buildings that are kind of sprinkled throughout the North Shore Port Moody area as well, but that's really the bulk of what you're going to see. Now moving on to townhouses, these are older style townhouses, so they're built in the 70s primarily, and they have open style parking, so like a carport or truly just like open with no attached garage. There are a little bit of options in the 90s that are up along Noons Creek, which is also a part of the sub area on that eastern side of North Shore Port Moody, so that's another one that you could keep an eye on. Now moving on to the detached homes, which make up the bulk of the product within the North Shore Port Moody and Barber Street sub areas, you have a wide range of options, and that's everything from like lot size to house style to interior square footage. And so you'll see things as small as 3,500 square feet for the lot size, but most commonly kind of in that 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 square foot range. But obviously you see anomalies that are all like above 10,000 square feet or 20,000 square feet even. So you can get really big lots here as well. In terms of the house size, you have as small as like, you know, the thousands, 1,800 square feet, but I see commonly kind of in that low twos, mid twos range for interior square footage, and a number of those like bigger monster homes or just larger homes in general above 3,000 square feet as well. In terms of the style of home, you have homes here that were built back in 1930s. Like my home, for example, is built in the 50s, so you do have the older style of home. You have some ranchers with a basement. So if that's something you're looking for, they do still exist within the sub area, but more commonly you're seeing a two-story home or a two-story with a basement home within these two neighborhoods. As I mentioned before, you have renters here, and so obviously that kind of comes with the territory of tearing down and building. So you have a lot of newer product as well that is coming up into like the 2000s, that is bigger, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 square feet that are three-story homes, massive views, massive homes. So you'll get that product here too. But the bulk of the product, I would say, is kind of built in the 70s and the 80s. So that really sums up the type of product that you can get here in terms of the detached homes. Now, in terms of what this area is famous for, it's definitely accessibility to water, waterfront options, and views. So the way you can kind of see it split in terms of the detached homes is like anything north of Ioko. You have that North Shore Port Moody area, and then you have Barber Street as well. So that's above Ioko. A lot of those homes there will get really, really beautiful views, or will be a little bit further up the mountain. So it's like in the trees, really close to the parks, like Burt Flynn Park that I was mentioning before. Very tranquil, very serene, just a very nice area to be in. Whereas if you're south of Ioko, then most of those ones are either on the water, like off of Alderside, and like literally our waterfront have like the dock access, like boats, immediate access to the water. Those are really beautiful and obviously very expensive, but a lot of the other ones are like just right above waterfront and have immediate access to the shoreline trail. So pros and cons to each within the sub area, but all in all still a beautiful, beautiful place to live. And you have a number of different options, whether you're looking at the detached options more on the west side of the sub areas, or whether you're looking at more of the strata options, the condos and townhouses on the east side of the sub area. So next, moving on to urban centers within the North Shore Port Moody sub area. Right behind me here, we have Newport Village and Heritage Mountain Shopping Village, both of which are just side by side of each other. So Newport Village is the option where you have residential and commercial spaces. So as I mentioned before, primarily built by BOSA in the 90s, but all the way up into the 2000s, up to around 2007, 2008 for building as well. You have low-rise mixed commercial residential options, so the residential on top and with a one-level commercial on the bottom. And you also have a number of high-rise options that are concrete as well. That area in terms of the retail that you'll see, like you have a Browns, you have St. James Well Pub, you've got a sushi restaurant, you've got Kin's Farm Market, you've got a butcher shop, you've got a barber shop, you've got a bank, like lots of different options there, regardless of whether you want to like hang out on a sunny day like today or kind of get groceries and errands done. In the Heritage Mountain Shopping Village, you also have a Shoppers Drug Mart there, you have a Starbucks, so again, a number of options. And right across the street, essentially from the Newport Village area, you also have Eagle Ridge Hospital. So if that's important for you, another key staple within the sub area as well. Now, moving on to new developments that are coming to the North Shore Port Moody area. Off of Ioko and kind of like around Guildford and that area up until about like St. John's, that little pocket there is going to be Coronation Park. So this is a new development. It's just recently had its City Hall discussion. It's expected to be completed in the 2036 timeframe, but obviously that is subject to delays as well. So West Group built. You have market rental condos, you've also got low-rise condos, and you have high-rise condos that are supposed to be coming your way. There's also going to be an amenity space there. There's going to be outdoor, like city-owned park space. There's going to be a daycare. They're supposed to be putting commercial options and a grocer. So I think that's really going to be an amazing urban space that will be added to the North Shore Port Moody area, sub-area in the future. So getting into schools for you, I think it's first important to understand how the schooling system is broken down in the Tri-Cities. So for elementary schools, it runs kindergarten to grade 5. We have middle schools here, so that runs grades 6 to 8. Then we have our secondary schools running from grades 9 to 12. So depending on where you are within the sub area, whether you're more on that like detached proper Port Moody side, like Barber Street or off of Ioko, or if you're more on the eastern side of North Shore Port Moody bordering Coquitlam, so like a lot of those condos and townhouses that I was talking about, that will really separate what catchment that you're in. So if you're more on that proper Port Moody side, then your elementary school catchment is probably Pleasant Side Elementary or Heritage Mountain Elementary. The middle school is going to be Eagle Mountain Middle, and the secondary school is probably Heritage Wood Secondary School. If you're more on that Coquitlam border side, then you're likely going to Eagle Ridge Elementary, Scott Creek Middle School, and Glen Eagle Secondary School. All in all, regardless of where you are, like Port Moody as a whole is really known for having great schools. So if that's something that you really value and you're wanting to move your family into the North Shore Port Moody or Barber Street sub areas, I think this is a really excellent place for families. Thank you so much for watching this video on the North Shore Port Moody and Barber Street sub-areas within beautiful Port Moody. I hope that you loved the area that I live in, and if you have any more questions about it, definitely feel free to reach out to me. If you haven't been to my channel already, please make sure to subscribe to the Bridgewell Group YouTube channel, where I have a number of other videos just like this one all throughout the Tri-Cities that you can check out. And if you want to get even more in-depth information, you can head over to the bridgewellgroup.ca website. Under our resources tab, we have a Coquitlam Neighbourhood Guide, Port Moody Neighbourhood Guide, and Port Coquitlam Neighbourhood Guide, where we break down absolutely everything that you need to know in written content if you're looking for more of that information. As mentioned before, I am a residential realtor, so if you are looking to buy or sell anywhere within the Tri-Cities, definitely feel free to reach out to me. This area is really my bread and butter, and I'd absolutely love to help you. Thanks so much again for watching, guys. Have a great day.